right, let's start off this arm day with a little bit of question and answer. Just one, but it's a big one. So this was commented by username literally just one period. Like there's no actual word, but the guy's so I just read it. The guy says, when I'm consistent with my training, I don't really get that sore, but I just took a week off and I haven't felt this sore from my workouts in a long time. Should I be taking weeks off more regularly in terms of actually kind of making sure I keep this gains train moving? And I could see why someone would think that. I understand the logic, right? But I think the issue, the sort of flaw in that thinking is such that your level of soreness is gonna relate to the amount of like productive work that you've done and like the effectiveness of your workouts, which I mean it's really just not the case. Soreness is going to be indicative of just like legit fucking stress. But if soreness was the key factor that I was aiming for, and I was like, oh, that leg didn't make me that sore, oh, maybe I should do one that will make me even more sore, then I would not put my ass underneath a fucking 9 plate leg press or like however many plate like Smith machine squats or leg extensions or anything crazy like that. I wouldn't do any of that. All I would do is fucking like try to go for a little bit of a run. And not only is that going to be hard for me just fucking cardiovascularly, but I don't know if you've ever tried going on a fucking run at a reasonable amount of fucking musculature. But yeah, guess what? It's not the easiest fucking thing in the world. It's I mean, not that you're gonna catch me fucking running, but the last time I tried doing a little bit of a jog, my quads were completely fucking wrecked. So doing like a fucking chill jog. Should I be doing that for my quad gains? It makes me sore. Not exactly. So I'll have a crazy fucking chest day, and the next day my chest isn't even fucking sore. So I think that's just a kind of the result of desensitizing yourself from the training, but not in a good way. Like as a beginner, if you've never trained before and you do a full week of push pull legs, and then a rest day, odds are you're gonna feel like you got hit by a bus, assuming your intensity was there. You've never trained before. This is a totally new fucking stimulus. You've got to not only handle the fucking like hypertrophic response to all these weights that you've been lifting, but it's just totally gonna fucking wreck you. And anybody who's worked out for the first time seriously knows this, or maybe not even for the first time. But if you've ever had a reasonably long downtime period, and then you try to get back into the swing of things, yeah, it's gonna be a little bit it's gonna be a little tricky for you. So I'm not inclined to believe that you should really be slamming weeks off. As like just a regular kind of like bodybuilder style guy, like in my case, right now, I'm working out, trying to grow muscle. I'm eating enough food, I'm getting more than enough sleep, I'm staying crazy well fucking hydrated. Everything else, a week off I don't think it's gonna do me any good right now. When I think of taking a week off, I think of like a power lifter or I don't know, like a competitive kind of like athlete where you actually need to be in a state where your body is completely unstressed. And then, sure, even if somebody did need a week off, I think the percentage of people that would take it who actually need it and it would actually be a good move is maybe 5 fucking percent. And the other 95% of guys who work out who say, oh, dude, I need an off week, are really just taking it because they're fucking tired of working out. And that's not necessarily just due to like, oh, this is too much, oh, it's too much work. Sometimes some guys don't have the best fucking routine for their kind of like lifestyle and their schedule, so it makes it a little bit trickier to go on a more consistent fucking basis. It's fucking fly on my window. But let's say you're doing workouts and you hate them. You have no fun. You're not really fucking enjoying what you're doing. It just feels like a chore, whatever. You're doing the same days, the same workout split, the same movements. You're getting tired of it. yeah, no wonder you're going to want to take a week off. You're not having any fun with what you're doing. So that's where I like to put a lot of energy into, well, not only for myself, but also for kind of telling as a little bit of advice. I like doing workouts where they're enjoyable. I'm doing movements that feel good for me. I'm lifting in a style that not only do I think is like productive gains wise, but I also enjoy. I'm trying to have fucking fun with it. And if it feels like a chore, you're not going to do it on a consistent basis. You know, so I think if somebody, I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. If you've got to take an off week, let's say you got all sorts of fucking external circumstances hitting you all at once, I'm not going to say don't do it. But just think about this. Kind of ask yourself this question before you actually take that off week. Right? Do you really need it? Or are you just saying you want it because you don't really want to fucking keep grinding? And that's not for me to answer. That's for you. That's for you to kind of look deep within and come out with your own response. You know. So I guess that's all I got to say there. But plan for arms, triceps first, biceps second. That's really it. It'll be a combination of push downs, curls, fucking potentially some other fancy pants stuff in between. But I can say with 110 fucking percent certainty, my arms are going to be pumped to hell at the end. So let's just get in there and get started. Let's start with something heavy. Let's start a little bit on the heavier side. So still weight within reason, but almost a bit more than half the stack. The full stack's 200, so that's 140 single arm. So I'll start with the right tricep first. It's a little bit behind, but nothing crazy. And don't there's a give and take, because there is a pretty serious give and take doing single-sided movements versus both at once, because this is going to take me twice as long as a regular double arm set of pushdowns would. But I think the benefit is worth it sometimes. I mean, maybe not for every set, but I get to focus 100% on one tricep rather than split my focus into the both of them. Now, that may only be a marginal change, but I like throwing it in every so often. So let's get amped up. There we go. A little heavier, 150. Come on. Oh, yeah. Okay. One more. Oh my God. Okay. Holy shit. Okay. One more like that, and then I'll change it up to something else. Okay. All right. That's enough single arm. Let's I'm not totally sure what's next. I guess we'll find out. 2 plates slapped on the side of the stack is about right. Honestly, I would not mind if I could go a little bit heavier, but there's just not really an easy way to do it. But this is enough weight where it'll be a reasonably controlled set. It's so spoiled of me to say, but I really wish these stacks were like double the weight. I've said this a couple times before. I wish there was like some gym manufacturer or whatever that had like extra strong cables and they made the stacks in their equipment unreasonable for anyone. Even like an Eddie Hall, even a Brian Shaw, Half Thor, all of them. I would love to see a stack where the plates go from the fucking floor to at least head level. But until then, this will work. Let's take a second. Do a couple extra rest pause reps. Okay. One more. Let's make a drop set. Okay. All right. Let's put all these damn plates away. Been a while since I've thrown the skull crushers in. So I was just saying to somebody, because I had to grab this bar from across the way. If I do skull crushers first, love them, awesome movement. A little bit too pinchy, because like I don't know what I could actually throw around fresh But no matter what that weight is, not even close to it. If I had any more than this, and I'm trying to do full fucking rep, all the tension and the kind of like torquey sort of fucking pressure that's going down in all my tendons in here, not awesome. So I love skull crushers, but for later in the workout, once I'm already a bit fatigued. So right now, perfect. So all I have to do is get hyped up and not drop this thing on my face. Not that I think I will, but I mean, you never know. All right. Let's take this thing off. Even that might have been too heavy. All right. Next set, just one plate. Oh. All right. Let's finish with a light squeezing set of something. Then move on to bias. All right. Light squeezing with the rope. That's all I feel they need. Just a touch more blood, and then cue the curls. So this and a little heavier. So this is even less weight than what I was doing for the single arm pushdowns in the beginning. Kind of goes to show the weakening effect of the whole lift. Okay. All right. Yeah. Triceps have been fucking methodically destroyed in a good way. So curl it. Let's be reasonable here. 60s. And this set will not have a mindless technique. And I've got a fucking plan. So first like 5, 6, 8, however many I can, reasonably strong. I'm gonna kind of hold for a second. These reps are gonna be reasonably slow, controlled, like quote unquote good reps. And once I get to a point where I can tell there's not much left in the tank in terms of doing a set in a very slow, controlled manner, I feel like I don't want to just end it right there. You know, I'm not saying that would be a bad set, but for whatever reason right now, based on how I like to lift and the sets that I like to do, I'll get to a point where my biceps are pretty fucking fatigued. You know, I probably can't get one more good slow one. Then I'll start swinging a little bit, squeeze out a bit more fucking, you know, effort, get a couple more reps. Even if there's some tempo to them, they're still gonna, like, I feel like people, you guys don't think this, but based on a lot of comments, it seems as though any swinging and any body language in a rep or in a fucking set makes it completely useless and futile. As though if I swing a little bit, I'm no longer working my biceps at all. It's all traps and it's all lats and shoulders. And it's just not the case. You know, I think it's very safe. It's a very safe take for someone to just do perfect form reps. Oh, my set was perfect. I put it down. Look, do it however you want, but that's not how I reach intensity. All right. Oh, motherfucker. All right. One more like that. Okay. Holy fuck. All right. Next set is still dumbbell. It's going to be a bit different. There's going to be some tempo to it. I will explain. So instead of a regular, just alternating set, or like a double arm at once kind of set, both of which totally fucking valid and good ways to go about it, this will be a little different. I like, I'm not exactly sure who I saw do this first. I'm not sure I even saw anybody do it first. Not that I'm trying to claim it or anything. I just don't know where I thought of it. But moderate weight, 40 pounds. So fucking 2/3 of the weight I was just doing earlier. And like leg extensions, which I like doing. Gonna hold on both of my sides here, start supinated. So I kind of have to use all biceps in the beginning. I say this a lot, but when you do dumbbell curls starting here, there's no way to get around it. In this first couple degrees of motion, you're using a lot of forearm. Whereas if your arms are already like this, your forearm can't help as much. It's more bicep focus. But lightweight, 5 reps on one side, 5 on the other. 5, 1, 5 on the other. I just like it. You know, good way to change it up, and still a nasty set. There we go. Okay. Oh. Okay. One more. One more of these at least. And I've got to say, a very different burn than just a regular fucking straight set. Which it would have to be, right? I mean, the fatigue, like, if I'm sitting here with dumbbells, curl, 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 curl. If you can imagine, it's like a fucking graph. I'm just gradually getting more and more fatigued at a pretty constant rate throughout the set. But with something like this, with the 5-rep pause for this arm, it almost regains a little strength. So the fatigue is almost like fatigue, fatigue. This is just like highlighting the left arm. Fatigue, fatigue, fatigue. A little bit of rest. Fatigue, fatigue, fatigue. A little bit of rest. Just a good way to change it up, I think. I'd recommend it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh my god. Let's change gears. Go to some cable curls. All right, let's curl some shit. God damn it. Totally overestimated my strength. Oh yeah. It's not over. One more. There, man. There. Okay. Oh. I think that's as good a fucking finisher as any. Nice little down the stack drop set. I was getting extra amped to fucking hurricane. Thought I had 240 for 10 in me. Either way, let's go pose down. Arms are trashed in a good way. These pump covers are getting harder and harder to remove. I think a closet overhaul is coming soon. Not like right now, but if you seriously bulk up and you seriously cut down, or if you've been lifting for a long enough time, then you know some of your shirts which you used to like, there's no chance you're wearing them. And there's definitely no chance you're wearing them and looking like a normal Joe instead of like somebody wearing a, like trying to pull off an extra schmedium so their arms look extra big. But enough chatting there. Let's fucking see how See, arms are looking fully pumped. Oh. Whew. Oh my goodness. We're getting somewhere. So, within the next couple days, I should be steady at the 260 mark. When you're bulking up or cutting down, don't expect, like, if you want to lose a pound a week, don't expect to lose like 1/7 of a pound every day super smoothly. It's going to be kind of sporadic. But I think within the week, 260 morning weight is going to be the new all-time low or minimum per se. So that's cool for me, because what took me 6 months to reach on the last bulk has now only taken me a month and a half, 2 months. So now this next 4 months afterward, because I can bulk for a pretty reasonable time as long as I'm growing, that's time for me to fucking push beyond, go beyond my limits. But let's get in the car. Arms officially done after one more Arnold pose. All right, let's get out of here. Today's lift, if I had to describe it in 2 words, I would say number 1, it was intense. It reached a level of intensity which makes me say that was a good one. And then number 2, it was seamless. Today's lift was seamless. And what I mean by that is I wasn't watching the clock. I wasn't no point whatsoever did I ever have the thought like, oh, okay, wait, how many more sets do I have of this? Oh. And those really are the best lifts. No, I mean, not that I'm ever really, not that I'm not excited for these, but I've, you know, if I've got a leg day ahead of me, if I'm mid hamstrings and I'm not really in the zone, like for whatever reason, just, like let's say I'm mid hamstrings, I'm not like totally in the zone for whatever reason, and like maybe I didn't get enough sleep or something. If my preparation was off, then if I'm sitting in front of what's basically another 10 crazy hard sets of quads, yeah, I'm gonna sit there like, oh shit, all right, I got a lot more left. But no, today was nice, and I can attribute that to a couple fucking factors, man. Slept good, totally hydrated, eating a ton of food, aka bulking up, and it is an arm day. And it was an arm day, which is not the most demanding. Not to make it sound like, oh, hitting arms is easy and like hitting back is hard or whatever else, but like the amount of actual energy that it's going to take for me to do a good arm day, it's considerably less than what's demanded from like a crazy leg day like I'm going to have tomorrow. So it does make it a bit easier to get in the zone because it's just not so much of like a like a physically challenging lift. But tries wrecked, a little heavier today. I've been on a kick. I've been on a kick of light squeezing stuff for triceps. Biceps a little bit too, but mainly tries. Like if you watch a couple of the last arm day videos, or the last arm workouts, some of those lifts were like all really light squeezing stuff, like 40 pounds on the rope extension, slow, just like that last set of triceps, or like cross body kind of extensions, which are good, but I want to change it up too. And I think that's a good way to go about it, Nobody's, if somebody's going to ask me, okay, what style of working out should I do? Should I focus on, heavy lifts and really work on my progressive overload, like 8 to 10 rep sets of like heavy compounds? Or should I do some fucking volume like bodybuilder work? Like should I be doing 20 rep sets, like 15 sets per workout? Not exactly. With a lot of things, well, except for a couple pretty important like black and white situations. A lot of things, the answer's in the middle. There's no black and white. It's all kind of a sort of a mixed gray. And not only do I think that just because it makes sense, it's also just the fucking case. If you look at some of these guys, there's and half of it is just to do with like some guys' genetics. But like I'll see training videos of like some I can't think of his name exactly. I don't want to disrespect him. The dude's a total freak. But it's like this Japanese bodybuilder, and I'm watching his quad day, just like in an Instagram clip and stuff. But the sets that he was doing weren't like the total failure. Like they were just like, it was 10 reps of like a heavy hack squat, pretty quick. Like he probably could have done another 10 more, and then he just racked it. But even though I may not, think that's exactly how I want to do my sets, the guy's quads are twice as big as mine. So there's also guys where, like a Hollingshead or all sorts of other kind of Olympia dudes where their workouts are insanely fucking heavy. They're not doing a crazy amount of light squeezing work. They're really putting a ton of tension in the targeted muscles they're working. So when I see that and I hear like some guys make legit gains off of really heavy sets, tension focus, like a lot of physical work being done, and then the same thing with lighter squeezing stuff, it's all about the burn, all about like good tempo, everything else. All that tells me is a lot of different kinds of working out works. So across the board, regardless of what style I end up doing, I want to push it hard and I want to change it up. So I think doing an even mix is not the worst approach. I think it's a pretty solid way to go about it. And not even just on a lift by lift basis, but lifts on their own individually as well. Like you're gonna see it tomorrow with legs. Um, you know, I kind of end up going heavy on the leg extensions too, but hamstrings, I might do a really light squeezing set of single leg hamstring curls. 5 reps one side, 5 reps on the other, just like those dumbbell curls I did earlier, and it'll be super light. Like very, very moderate weight, but I'm just really trying to hold it and squeeze it and make it difficult by its execution. And then, cut to 2 sets later, I'll do some heavy ass fucking RDLs. What is that? Oh, this guy's stopping next to me. But, I'll go from doing really light squeezing stuff to a pretty heavy fucking tension focus set, just back to back. And I know that it's going to be fucking gains conducive because the effort's there. The intensity's there. And not even that, I know the fucking fatigue and pumpedness is also there. So it's just, don't get too lost in the nuances. I think if I were to kind of boil down some of my thought processes right now and like my beliefs in terms of my training, which is definitely going to be different than a year from now, a bit, probably crazy different than like 5 years from now, and definitely insanely different from like 5 years ago. I'm training to a point where I feel like whatever body part I'm aiming at is fully cooked, which is it's kind of subjective. So only I really know that for me specifically, because I've been working out for long enough. I kind of think I've reached a point where I know when a muscle has had enough, which, who knows? Maybe I've got that wrong. Maybe I'm calling my workouts too early. So that's something that may change over time. But, I'm kind of lifting to an individual muscle's maximum output with a combination of maybe some heavy, like really workload kind of sets and some light squeezing stuff. And that's, there's no need to overcomplicate it more than that. Like, I think it's kind of unfortunate just how crazy and fucking, not detailed, that's not the right word, but just how like oversaturated the social media side of working out is, because that's where everybody learns anything. So if somebody's interested in working out, they're not just gonna go to the gym and talk to the guys who work at the gym, or like the actual guys who are lifting at the gym for tips. Everybody's just gonna look it up online, and there's so much like differences of opinion and fucking, so don't get don't get too don't get too swayed, right? If you're a ship who's going to change his fucking change his direction based on any given light wind, then you're never going to get to your end destination. So when I say that some things are a bit more black and white, this is what I mean. And I've been saying this a lot. I'll try not to repeat myself so much, but you train hard, hit your protein, eat however much food is necessary for whatever your goals are. If you're trying to bulk up, you got to eat more food. If you want to cut down, you got to eat less food, and the scale will give you the answer. If you're gaining weight, your bulk is going well. If you're losing weight, your diet is going well. It's simple as that. Well, not exactly, but you you get what I'm saying. Drink your fluids, get a good night's rest, and the rest will fall into place. So plan for me now. Go home and chow down. I tell you what, guys, you might need to take a little tip from your pets. If you leave a steak on the counter, is there any question that your dog is going to demolish it in 3 seconds, given the chance? Odds are, yes. So you're telling me you can't? It's putting down food is definitely a skill, right? It's something that definitely you kind of get better at over time. But it does require some effort. Gaining weight, actually bulking up, it's not passive. It's not passive activity. So if you can tell, well, for somebody who was, let's say somebody's going to say, oh man, I just can't really gain weight. I don't know what's wrong. Are you actually trying? And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm like, legit, eating a ton of food takes some work. It takes some fucking effort to actually like have meals prepped a little bit if you're going to be away from the kitchen or away from a food source for more than like 4 hours at a time or whatever. Like, it is going to take some effort. So if you don't think back on your whole day and you're not able to recount at least a few minutes of the day where you were really putting in effort on the diet side of things, then to expect any like major weight changes to occur, I hate to burst your bubble, but it's just not going to happen. So treat the diet just like you treat your training. Go hard. I mean, I'll fucking watch a hype video while I've got a bowl of oatmeal and ground beef. It'll kind of fucking get me going because I know this is going to improve my gains. So that's my take there, man. All right, lift hard, eat hard, sleep hard, get big. Perfect. But I'll see you tomorrow for a nasty AF leg day, I presume. So I'll see you then.